Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Thank you and welcome once again, my friends, to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, the host with the most, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla, the sizzle of Rizzle, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur. Just that title gets better every week I say it. And welcome to AWSM Radio, an independent digital-only radio station that plays today's best music, old school classics, along with a rotating cast of all-star DJs. AWSM Radio focuses on mainstream artists, independent artists, along with a variety of interesting talk and music shows throughout the day. All we do is entertain, inspire, and inform. And my friends, I want to engage with you. I want you to be part of the conversation. So find me on the Rizzle, on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and even on Cameo at Colt S. Taylor, and catch up with everything I'm doing week in and week out at ColtSebastianTaylor.com. You should have it bookmarked if it isn't already. All right, my friends, let's get started with this week's Saturday Report. First up today, some entertainment news and some sad news. This week, comedian Paul Mooney passed away at the age of 79, a iconic, brilliant comedian, working with Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle. He was the head writer on the Richard Pryor show. Also, was a major writer on the show Good Times, In Living Color, Pryor's Place. The sort of last big thing you probably would have seen him on. He made somewhat regular appearances on the Chappelle show with Dave Chappelle, but he has passed away at the age of 79 this week after a heart attack. There's some outpouring of appreciation of his life and grief that he had passed away. Known as the Godfather of comedy in some circles for his iconic roles and bits. He was really an amazing comedian. Filmmaker Ava Dervey called Mooney, this is the article I'm reading from here, a comic genius, and thanked him for how he let his personal experiences shine through his work. Quote, "He spoke freely and fearlessly about feelings and experiences others found difficult to express. May he be truly free now," according to the filmmaker. But I was a fan. He was very, very, very funny. And, 79, it's a nice long life. Just want to bring that to you. If you don't know who he is, you haven't seen his work, I highly recommend pop on the YouTube, check out some of his older material, some of his newer material, and you can see that, wow, this guy really did have an influence on a whole generation of comedians. So once again, Paul Mooney, 79, has passed away this week after a heart attack. And like I said, you should really, really check out some of his work. In other entertainment news, guess what is coming back, my friends? Hocus Pocus 2. Yes, the popular film in 1993 is having a sequel nearly 3 decades later. And guess who's coming back? Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. They're all coming back. The 3 sisters who are in Hocus Pocus are coming back for the sequel. And I know personally, there are many people who are excited to see this happen again. So if you haven't seen the original Hocus Pocus, I don't know how, because they show it practically every day throughout October. It's like the Christmas Story of Halloween movies on the Disney properties and whatnot. They show it a lot. It's a pretty good movie. I mean, for 1993, not too shabby. Sarah Jessica Parker, this is before she had her big Sex and the City break. Bette Midler, iconic, amazing. Kathy Najimy, also amazing in it as well. But they're coming back. They are coming back, and this is 30 years later. So Bette Midler is now, let's see here. I have this written down here that these 3 ladies are still amazing even 30 years later. Bette Midler, I believe, is 75. That's right. She I don't think she ages. So she might actually be a witch or a vampire, because it's hard to say. It's hard to say that she looks almost exactly the same as she did 30 years ago. She looks fantastic. She is 75. Sarah Jessica Parker, I believe, is in her mid-50s. And then Kathy Najimy is in her mid-60s. And all three of them, yeah, Kathy Najimy is 64, and Sarah Jessica Parker is 56. But the three of them, they still look pretty good. It's going to be really, really interesting. So it's going to debut on Disney Plus in the fall of 2022, so you'll have to wait at least a year for it. But it's been announced. Apparently the plot of this movie is that they're going to be resurrected. They're going to be resurrected by a trio of women in modern day Salem. It's going to be directed by Anne Fletcher, whose credits include 27 Dresses and The Proposal, which are pretty good flicks. I've seen both of them. And all three of them released Instagram messages today about the excitement of it. Bette Midler said, "Sisters, it's been 300 years, but we're back." And then Kathy Najimy said, the people have spoken, I smell children again." And then Sarah Jessica Parker said, "I'm ready to run amok. So all three of them very excited. I'm looking forward to this movie. I think Disney Plus, with their Star Wars stuff and their Marvel stuff, they've done a pretty good job. I mean, I've enjoyed them, so I feel confident that they're going to do a good job in this movie as well. So if you're a fan of the original Hocus Pocus, you will want to check out Hocus Pocus 2, coming in the fall of 2022. Moving on to tech news, I have some sad breaking news in the world of tech. Internet Explorer is once more no more. Yes, Microsoft is finally retiring Microsoft Internet Explorer after 26 years of service. First released in Windows 95, but they will no longer appear in the consumer versions of Windows 10 after June 2022. Now, this is not the first time they decided to phase it out. They've been trying to phase it out for several years now, but haven't been able to, for a reason I will get to. They had to issue an update in 2019, an emergency patch for it, for security reasons. In 2019, it was estimated that 8% of people were still using Internet Explorer. Now, they're not getting out of the internet browsing program game. They've replaced it with Microsoft Edge, which you may have tried. It has an Internet Explorer compatibility mode, and that will still function. So the reason why Internet Explorer has taken so long to phase it out is that some websites, some old websites, but especially some internal company website tools, like big companies use the internet to do their work and whatnot, and they have this sort of private, in-company only website that they use to communicate, is based off of that technology, old Internet Explorer technology, and it's running for years and years and years, and they just haven't updated it. So if Internet Explorer were to go away, there's a decent number of big international companies that would have trouble running business, because now they can no longer run these web tools they've developed over years to help their company run and whatnot. So they've sort of tried to, they were going to phase out years ago, but they got a lot of pushback. Still some very big companies that still use Internet Explorer, and these web tools, these websites that they use for the business, they're so old, they don't work on modern browsers like Chrome or Firefox or Microsoft Edge. So Microsoft's been working to make their new browser, Microsoft Edge, have the components of Microsoft Internet Explorer, so these companies can still work correctly. So that's basically why it's been taking so long for them to retire the Internet Explorer. So Yeah. So between just a little bit of history for you, Microsoft Explorer, the Internet Explorer, had a massive hold on the browser market share between 2000 and 2005. 90% of all people used Internet Explorer. Now, today, Google Chrome is is the most popular Internet Explorer that's out there today, as sort of unseated Microsoft from the browser game. But Microsoft was fined in 2013 almost a billion. At the time, it was almost $500 million. It's almost like $1 billion today for the way they promoted Internet Explorer. So they preloaded Internet Explorer onto all their computers. It made it hard for people to change it to something else, to be the default browser. And they got fined for that because of antitrust issues. Yep, Internet Explorer is finally going away. And they're also planning to change the default font, which is important to some people. Since 2007, it has been Calibri across all of its products, and they're asking people to vote on 5 new fonts to be the new default font of all the Microsoft products. So they're doing a little tinkering. Doing a lot of tinkering here. So once again, folks, if you have Internet Explorer, you might want to find something else. It's probably not as fast or secure as today's modern browsers, but it is finally no longer going to be installed on new computers starting next year, and it's going to be finally retired from the browser world, Internet Explorer. In other tech news, Twitter is reopening its verification process, first time since 2017. So if you're on Twitter like I am, those who are quote-unquote verified have that blue check mark. Boy howdy, is it ever a source of pride when someone gets a blue check mark. I have some folks, some friends, some people I actually know that have blue check marks, and I am jealous. I, Colt Sebastian Taylor, do not have a blue check mark, despite being a practically world famous broadcaster here on AWSM radio. But Twitter's reopening its process for the first time since 2017. Over the next few weeks, people will be able to maybe start the verification process through their phones. Will I, Colt Sebastian Taylor, apply? You damn right I will be. You're damn right I will be, because I should have a blue check mark. I'm a source of news on this digital-only independent radio station, playing today's best music, old school classics, etc., etc. So yes, I should have a blue check mark. Now, these accounts must fall in one of 6 categories to be considered for verification. I think I fall into some of these. Government? No. Companies, brands, organizations. Well, I consider myself a brand, but maybe not. News organizations and journalists. Obviously, I give you the news every week here. Entertainment. Obviously, I'm entertaining. Sports and gaming. No, I don't really do that. Activists, organizers, or other influential individuals. I'm influential, I think. I'm so influential. May I add, I even bring this up this week. I had so much news. Hyundai finally tweeted me back after weeks of pestering them. They told me to call, so I'll call next week. I'll give you an update. But yes, so Twitter is reopening its verification process. If you can apply. If you get rejected, you can reapply every 30 days if you want to. So anyway, they paused verification in November 2017 after a large amount of criticism for its decision to verify Jason Kessler. He was one of the organizers of the August 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, that resulted in the death of one woman. I think we all remember that awful day and rally. And the guy who organized it was verified, and so they were got a lot of criticism of their verification process, so they just stopped in 2017. It was handing them out, very, very piecemeal here and there once in a while. But now the process is reopened. I will apply because I, Colt Sebastian Taylor, should be verified. I think AWSM Radio's Twitter feed, it should be verified. They're a verified source of music and news entertainment. So I'll have to kick this to the higher ups, high up on the 30th floor of the great AWSM Radio news building, entertainment headquarters, to the higher ups, and get someone on this, and then somehow piggyback on the back of that to get myself verified, one way or another. So, if you think you're important, check your Twitter app. Verifications are open once again. Speaking of verification, I can verify. I, Colt Sebastian Taylor, can verify that if there's one place you need to be on Fridays at 9 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m., it's to be listening to DC Live in Effect here on AWSM Radio. He is, as you know, longtime listeners, is our fantastic in-house DJ. You do not want to miss it while he is smashing it on the ones and twos, kicking the beats from his unverified South Florida compound. I don't know where it is. He probably doesn't want to be put on the grid. He's in such high demand. High demand. That's my boy, DC, the best DJ there ever was. I can verify that. He's really, really good. I believe he's working on my theme song. I need to tell him he needs to, but in a way he is. Probably subconsciously he is. So, check out DC Live in Effect. Fridays at 9 p.m. Sundays at 10 p.m. right here on AWSM Radio. Continuing with tech news, Snapchat has reported that it has now surpassed 500 million monthly users of the app, and is now partnered with Poshmark to add a lot more shopping aspects to the app. Now, I'm not on Snapchat. I can only handle so many social media accounts at one time. I don't have an extensive production team or entourage yet. Come on, lottery numbers tonight. But I do have the accounts. I can follow friends and stuff like that. I'm on Rizzle. I'm a Rizzle person. But Snapchat that's quite the milestone. 500 million monthly users. Poshmark's going to add a lot more shopping aspects to it, so they can create a unique, individualized shopping experience and whatnot. Now, so Snapchat users in the U.S. will be able to use Poshmark Mini in 3 different ways. They can shop virtual Posh parties, shop Poshmark's entire catalog, and shop top-selling brands as well. According to Poshmark's Chief Marketing Officer, Tristan Young, says, the partnership allows us to create a more engaging, dynamic, and personalized shopping experience everywhere consumers are. So, I mean, do I use Poshmark? No. I also use Snapchat, so this really don't impact me, but a lot of people are going to jump on this. A lot of people want to take advantage of this. A lot of brands will take advantage of this. This is the new sort of territory for brands to get their wares and their products out there. Snapchat is jumping on top of that. Roughly 40% of all Snapchat users are located outside of North America and Europe. So 60% are in Europe and North America. The other 40% all over the world. And that's significant. That's a significant number of people. Holy moly, that's a lot. So, if you notice some changes in Snapchat, if you're a regular Snapchat user, if you want to be the official Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor Snapchat correspondent / Snapchat fan club, applications are open. Now it's time for a Houston Tiger update. As you may remember, last week, I think even the week before that, there was a story of a tiger loose in Houston, and an off-duty police officer was trying to corral that tiger as it was roaming through a suburban neighborhood, and then some guy showed up, put a tiger in the back of his SUV, and then sped away from police. The police kind of lost him, and they found the guy, but they didn't know where the tiger was, and there's a lot of mystery. Well, anyways, some good news. The tiger has been found and is now under the care of animal control. This story is still a little So basically, the gentleman, the Victor Cuevas, who were the tiger's occasional caretakers, quote unquote, went to this resort called Club Westside, who the owner is someone named Linda McAvale, who is the wife of Mattress Mac, which I don't know who Mattress Mac is. I guess it's some Houston-based mattress company. I didn't put a lot of research into that part. And they were friends. Although Linda has downplayed how close they were. So when the tiger went missing, Linda here was contacted by the Houston's animal shelter and animal control to help find the tiger. She called Victor, who didn't know where the tiger was, but then a day later did know, and they arranged to have the tiger handed over to animal control. There's no word of where that tiger was at the time. Like, they're not saying where this tiger was hanging out, where they found him, but they said, well, we have the tiger now. We're going to hand it over. And and hand it over. And they handed it over in the parking lot. In the parking lot of this resort style athletic club, so to speak. So anyways, yeah, it occurred at it occurred at West Houston Tennis Club. I don't know if it was on tennis court, but they transferred the tiger over. Now, here's the thing that may be questioned here. Linda's club, the West Side Club, yes, the Club West Side. Sorry, Linda. Is licensed by the Department of Agriculture to exhibit exotic animals. So the club is licensed to do that. Like, they're licensed to have exotic animals. Right? So, interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So, in Texas, you can own tigers. And, in fact, there are a few tiger-related parks that were featured there on the Tiger King, which I have a story coming up just next to talk about. So, it is not illegal to own a tiger in Texas. You need some paperwork. It is illegal, however, to have a tiger in the city limits of Houston. Now, according to Cuevas' lawyer, the guy who scooped up the tiger and drove off, ran away with police, him and his wife have owned the tiger for about 9 months. But there is no word exactly of how they got that tiger in the first place. I would like to remind you, Victor Cuevas is currently in a Texas jail in Fort Bend County, Texas, on a $300,000 bond. He was previously out on bond for murder. He is charged in a murder that happened several years ago that I guess, Texas is all about trying to pass abortion laws as quick as possible. Guy murders someone, you know what, we'll just put that on the back burner. What could possibly go wrong with a guy accused of murdering someone else? We'll get to it. I mean, what's he gonna do? Accidentally lose a tiger in the next 3 years? Unlikely, Jake. Well, this guy did. So this is pretty much, I think, come to a close. I feel like we're still missing some details. Like, if I had to take a stab in the dark, I feel like Linda wanted a tiger for her Club West Side, knows Victor, who, probably has a few shady connections, and he procured her a tiger. And then this happened. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But this might be the last update. But I'm going to keep an eye out for this because I feel like there's more. Speaking of tigers and lions, but no bears in this case, federal authorities raided an Oklahoma animal park owned by Jeff Lowe and his wife Lauren, who were both featured in Tiger King: Murder, Mayhem, and Madness, which if you have not seen yet, you need to see the Tiger King documentary. I watched it over last summer, and I'm not kidding you. Each episode seems normal and whatnot, but the last 5 minutes of each episode, you have to pause and go, I'm sorry, what? What is going on? What? Well, anyways, Tiger King was focused on a tiger owner named Joe Exotica, who's currently in jail for a murder plot against Carol Baskin, who also appeared on Dancing with the Stars recently and was involved in the Houston tiger search as well. Well, Jeff Lowe here was part of that documentary. Documentary focused on not only Joe Exotica, but also him and another guy. And there was like four tiger owners that they focused on in that documentary. The only one that seemed like a decent person was an ex-drug runner who may have murdered people. Like, he's the only person who actually respected the animals in his private Miami compound. So Jeff Lowe, he took over aspects of the park. Or not, he has his own tiger park, and federal authorities seized 70 big cats from him. Now, Jeff Lowe is married to a lady named Lauren, who is several decades his junior. And hey, listen, age is just a number. I'm not going to poo-poo on people who date and marry folks legally of different age groups. But I can't help but to think that maybe for the last 20 years he's been using tigers to get women to sleep with him. So that's his sort of angle, so to speak. But I guess he married her at some point. But if you watch the documentary, he's like, oh, that guy's a predator. Okay. I see how it is. Actually, there's another person on this documentary who got raided last year. He basically runs a cult, like a sex cult with tigers. Not having sex with tigers, but he employs only women. And boy, howdy, they're all the same demographic age range. Whew. Anyways, Jeff Lowe's animal park in Oklahoma was raided. Authorities seized 70 cats, lions and tigers and lion-tiger hybrids and jaguar were all seized from his zoo. The U.S. Department of Agricultural, Animal, and Plant Health Inspection Service did 3 inspections starting in mid-December 2020, and each inspection conditions were being worse and worse and worse there. Animals did not have appropriate nutrition, shelter, veterinarian care, and they say, well, I think we've seen enough, and decide to seize all the cats there. They also have charged him with obstruction because he significantly obstructed the service of the warrant. He threatened a few agents to kill them, which, if I can just give one advice to any tiger owner, is don't threaten federal authorities who come and inspect what's going on there. And, so it looks like that park is, for the most part, shut down, so to speak. Now, he had a stroke recently, so I don't know what his current health situation is, Jeff Lowe. But it looks like he's not going to get any of those cats back. And just as a reminder, he had worked with Joe Exotic. Joe Exotic worked for Joe Exotic but had a falling out, and then kind of took over his property. And then that property, the Tiger King's property, eventually was seized and given in a civil suit to Carol Baskin, his arch enemy. And Joe Exotic, who also ran for president 1 year, and you should really, I think 2016, I think either 2012 or 2016 he ran for president. And if you want to see a just detached from reality presidential commercial, you should look that up. You should look that up because that is crazy. It is a crazy commercial. They paid for and got broadcasted. Whew. Oh boy. Well, anyways, but he's in jail for 22 years for a murder for hire plot. He tried really hard to get Trump to pardon him to the point where he thought he was going to pardon. He sent a limo and a stylist to the jail to pick him up. No pardon came for Joe Exotic. So he's still in jail. But anyways, Jeff Lowe, a star of the Tiger King documentary, raided by federal authorities and had all of his animals seized in his Oklahoma park earlier this week. Speaking of insane people running for office, Mark McCloskey is running for Senate in Missouri. Who's Mark McCloskey? You remember that video last year during the protests going through various cities? That guy and the wife on the front lawn with an assault rifle and a pistol waving their guns around as people are walking down the street. Yeah, that cup of rainbow and sugar. He's running for Senate in Missouri. The guy pointing a weapon at protesters while his wife yells at him, waving a gun around after having probably one too many wine spritzers, is running for Senate in 2022. He made the announcement on known blowhard Tucker Carlson's show on Fox News. He's registered with the Federal Elections Commissions, has a Mark McCloskey for Missouri website. He said on Tucker Carlson's show, "God came knocking on my door last summer disguised as an angry mob, and it really did wake me up." This guy is terrible, a terrible person, and he's running for Senate, and given the world we live in, he probably has a good shot at running. Good shot at winning. Missouri is a very heavily Republican state. The current senator, Roy Blunt, says he would not go for a third term, so there's already five different people running there on the Republican side. Some people on the Democrat side are running as well. So we'll see what happens there and whatnot. But yep, he thought, hey, I'm being charged also. He's being charged for unlawful use of a weapon, and also evidence tampering weapon as well. Now the governor of Missouri said he would pardon them because, of course, they are celebrities. They are all celebrities now. They spoke at the Republican convention saying they're being canceled and et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, you should check out his video. It's just a dystopian future. He's walking through burnout. It looks like he just got kicked out of a Mad Max video, and only him and his gun can save Missouri from the roving mobs out to get him. Boy, what a big old nozzle this guy is. So I'm hoping he's crushed in the primary because I just do not like this guy. But it makes me want to run for Senate, just so I can go there and yell at him on the Senate floor and have it be part of the Senate record. And I would stand like, "Mr. President of the Senate, my good friend from Missouri over there, we all know he is a room temperature IQ slack-jawed yokel, tightly gripping his gun in compensation for a lack of moral authority. I would be a great senator. Colt for Senate 20 whatever. I could do it. Oh man. Could you imagine being in the Senate with a pith helmet, a vest, and a tie? I could fix this country in 2 weeks, or get kicked out of the Senate. Either way, I could probably get one of two of those things done. Hey, be real big trick to do both if you think about it. Oh. Well, anyways, I'll be following this. We'll see if he actually goes to jail. Primaries are next year, because we're in 2021 right now. The election is in November 2022, so the primaries will be sometime next spring/summer. But I'll say the old Shooty McGee over here gets some traction. But I'll tell you who should definitely be in the Senate. Who should be in the Senate with me. Now, I'm from Pennsylvania. She's from New York, the great state of New York. My pal Rocks. Her qualifications, the Rocks Sessions. Okay? People from the radio go into politics all the time. Hey, Mike Pence was a radio host before he was terrible. But listen, Rocks is amazing. She's great. She should run for Senate because of the Rock Sessions, the drive time show here on AWSM Radio, making sure your evening commute home is fun. It features the hottest music on today's charts and some other surprises in between. She will make it rock style. She would rock the Senate if you ask me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Bookmark it. Make a calendar appointment. Tell your butler to remind you to listen to the Rock Sessions Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here on AWSM Radio. Our last story this week takes us to Denmark, where something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Well, not something. Minks. Yes, minks. Those animals they make mink coats out of. Well, in November of 2020, Danish officials announced a plan to cull, to kill all farmed minks in over 200 farms because of the COVID-19 infection was spreading amongst the minks, and they were concerned about the mutations that could happen in these 289 mink farms. Okay, they were all culled. However, it was like 17 million carcasses they had. They had to, do something with them. Well, in the incinerators in the country, there was not enough capacity for all of these minks, so 4 million of them were buried in military areas in western Denmark. However, in a perhaps short-sighted decision, they were buried near a swimming lake, near a source of water, and there was concerns about contamination of drinking water. And then the minks started to rise from the grave. No, they weren't zombies, although they were called zombie minks, but the gases produced during the decomposition process pushed these mink carcasses to the surface of where they were buried. So they were slowly popping back up, and as you may imagine, stunk up the place. Now, the judges in Denmark said that the Danish officials really did not have the legal authority to do this. They certainly can cull infected minks, but they probably killed a bunch of minks they didn't have to, and now they have a big old stinky rotten mess on their hands. They were buried in November, and they started popping up very soon afterwards. So now they have to dig up all the minks that they buried and then take them to incinerators. Hopefully by mid-July they'll have this all cleaned up. So, something is definitely rotten in the state of Denmark. It's called long-term planning. Not so great. Zombie minks. Oh boy, this will probably be a movie on the Sci-Fi Channel, I predict, within a year. So, if you're in Denmark, something stinks. It might be the minks. Well, my friends, that just about wraps up this week's Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Special shout to my pal Burke, accomplished woodworker in Berks County, who sent me that story about the minks. He always loves a good mink story. And remember, my friends, you can find me on the Twitter, on the Rizzle, on the Instagram, even on the Cameo at Colt S. Taylor. Feel free to engage with me on there if you think I've missed something, think there's a story I should cover, or you just want to say hi. I like the attention. And of course, if you want to keep up to date with all things Colt Sebastian Taylor, go to ColtSebastianTaylor.com. I update with past episodes of the Saturday Report, so you should really check in there every week, especially if you missed this week's show, which shame on you, but hey, life happens. But definitely visit that when you can. Well then, until next week, my friends, I am, of course, as always, your friend, Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later.